My name is Marcus Blake. I'm with That Nerd Show here at the 2019 Dallas International Film Festival, and speaking with a very special guest. If you are a sports fan, the voice of the Texas Rangers. So, you've had such an interesting and prolific career with the Rangers. I mean, you've seen a wave of good teams, bad teams. You've kind of seen it all, but. This is a little weird interviewing you here at the Dallas Film Festival. What brings you out? I mean, have you seen anything good?
Well, actually, the movie Jump Shot is the main reason that I'm here. About Kenny Sailors, the guy who invented the jump shot back in the 30s. There's a very common misconception, even among people who know something about the history of basketball, that a guy named Hank Lucetti was the father of the jump shot.
Right.
When in fact, Hank Lucetti's shot wasn't really a jump shot. It was more of a running one-hander.
Right.
And Kenny Sailor's shot, which was a true jump shot, was invented before Hank Lucetti ever started playing college basketball. So it's amazing to me that this story has been hidden for so long, and I'm so grateful to Jacob Hamilton, the director and creator of this movie, for bringing it to light. And he did a sensational job of telling the story.
Yeah, that was by far my favorite documentary of this festival. I honestly didn't know about it, and just them talking about Wyoming winning the Final Four, which I didn't even know had ever happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was. I even got a little teary-eyed at the end.
Yeah, we did too. And my wife, who's not a sports fan at all, and even thinks that kind of sports is dumb, she was crying at the end of it too, and that really told me something.
Right. Now you've had a book come out, which we see here. Tell us a little bit about your book.
It's called LIM-ERIC. It's limericks primarily about baseball, but not entirely. It's about players on the team that I work for, the Texas Rangers, but it's also about baseball personalities all over the league. I have a limerick in there about the exploding scoreboard at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago that was actually invented by Bill Veeck.
Yes.
This is one of my personal favorites. This is a tribute to the incredible Hawk Harrelson, one of my mentors and one of the great celebrities, one of the great personalities in the history of baseball, and in my mind, one of the fantastic baseball broadcasters. And this was a tribute to Hawk, who retired at the end of last season.
Nice, yeah.
And you know, the movie Jump Shot focuses a lot on the fact that Kenny Sailors somehow is not in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
Hawk Harrelson somehow is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame as a TV announcer, and I've been a spokesman for the last few years on behalf of Hawk getting in there, and I'm hoping that next year.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
The Ford Frick Award and gets into the Hall of Fame with people like Vin Scully and Ernie Harwell and Jack Buck.
Right. Now, obviously, there's broadcasters that have come before you that influenced you. Who are some of your famous broadcasters in baseball history?
Well, I grew up in New York City, so I was affected mostly by the Yankees announcers Mel Allen and Red Barber, and the New York Mets announcers Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. But Vin Scully is truly the god of baseball announcing.
Right.
And anybody who wants to get into baseball announcing is going to listen to Vin Scully, and on any sort of question, how do you do this? The answer is, what would Vin do?
Right. All right. Now, I agree with you on one hand, but I'm originally from Chicago, so it's always going to be Jack Brickhouse or Harry Carey. And I know I'm being biased on that. Or Ron,
you should be. They're good guys.
Or Ron Santo and Pat Hughes on the radio. I'm just saying. But I think that's an interesting observation about Vin Scully, considering how long he had, was a broadcaster.
I mean, he worked till he was almost 90 years old. But it's interesting, coming from Chicago, and there's a big difference between the style in New York and the style in Chicago. I went to Northwestern when I was in high school one summer for their Cherub program in broadcasting, and got to listen to Brickhouse, and then it was Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau were doing the games on the radio, and there's much more personality used in Chicago radio than there is in New York radio, and I really liked it. And I adopted a lot of that as my style. I'm more of a personality announcer, I think, than most of the New York announcers over the years have been.
Okay. So I have to ask, from within Ranger history, what have been some of your favorite moments to have broadcast?
Well, I had the pleasure of broadcasting 2 Nolan Ryan no-hitters, the 6th and 7th no-hitters. Kenny Rogers, a perfect game in 1994, but nothing compared to the Rangers winning the American League pennant for the first time in 2010. This team started in 1972.
Yeah.
They didn't make it to the World Series till 2010, and the last out that won the pennant for them was a strikeout of Alex Rodriguez, who had played for the Rangers and asked to be traded 7 years before. So it was very gratifying to Ranger fans that's the way they made it. And that by far is the most emotional moment for me as a baseball announcer.
Is it hard broadcasting heartbreaking games like in 2011 in the World Series when you're one strike away and twice and you can't do it?
I can't imagine anything more painful than that. And I still haven't gotten over that. I don't think any Rangers fan has gotten over that.
No, there's just certain things you never get over. I know my Cubs won a World Series in 2016, but I'll never be over 2003.
You're not a Bartman fan, are you?
No, I have a lot of respect for Bartman for not taking a dime for his celebrity and always being a vigilant Cubs fan. But it's just that moment and everything that happened. You never get over it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I get the heartbreak.
Even my friends who are Red Sox announcers say that even though the Buckner thing has been wiped out by 3 World Championships, 4 World Championships, there's still scars from the Buckner game.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got friends that talk about the summer of '69 for the Cubs too. So I mean,
I was an 18-year-old Mets fan then, so
we won't talk about that then. All right, so we always have a fun question at that nerd show that we ask all of our filmmakers, sports personalities, just anybody. If you could have a superpower or a weapon of choice from within the nerd universe to fight the forces of evil, what would you choose?
To fight the forces of evil, I would make everybody be kind. Everybody's first priority in dealing with the rest of humanity would be kindness.
Nice. I think that's a great one.
I don't know if that's nerdy enough, but
no, that's a great one. The world would just be a better place if that was possible.
The best piece of advice that I ever heard anyone give when Conan O'Brien first retired from doing late night TV, and I know he's come back, as he was going out the door, he was asked his advice for aspiring talk show hosts.
Right.
And he said, work hard and be kind. And what more do you need?
Yeah, especially if you're going to mentor people. So, great answer.